so on. And then we have some news about the how to share the results that are being obtained through the 2024 campaign. And one little so in terms of how physically to share them, so we're no longer going to use a shared spreadsheet, but we're going to use our form to collect the results. And then some news also are going to be shared about the scientific production. So as you all know, one of the goal of this network was also to realize some scientific production apart from what has been done in terms of reporting so far. So the EOW team has been working on that in order to define and find the best to define policies and the structure and how to propose and decide papers, and so we're gonna update you on that because that's something we really want to get started with. And then we're also gonna update you on the connections that we are trying to build up with other networks and scenarios that are alike to the EOW. So this is mostly what we're gonna show you in detail. And so I believe, Massimo, perhaps we can start. I don't know whether the recording issue has been solved.
It is.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so as Tancredi said, we are going to tell you about the status, the present situation for the observatory and the novelties that we are going to introduce for the sharing of data and so on. So I'm going to start with the situation we are now. This slide shows the progresses of the observatory that started, as you know, in 2021 and that has reached this year with the campaign 2024 as many as 41 participants in total, representing 27 different European countries and 68 study sites spread across Europe. Actually, we have also contacts with new participants that joined during this 2024 campaign the observatory, and then declared the availability to collect data for the next year. So the number of sites is going to increase, and also the representation of countries in terms of countries is going to increase, and we are very happy about it. This is the map of the study sites that signed the agreement and
Massimo, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
I think that your slideshow is not visible. I thought it was just me, but I see that also in the comments someone Alan also wrote that he can't see it. Okay, so it's not everyone.
I'm trying to share it again. Can you see it now?
Right, okay.
I
Okay,
can't, but really is not a problem if I'm the only one.
no, if you are not seeing, I don't know why.
No, but okay, so most of the people can. So perhaps is just an issue with the ones who can't see it.
Is anyone missing the presentation, the slides? Please see the comments because I can't
Yeah,
read.
no, everyone can. The only one was Alain, who said who's trying to reconnect. So
Ah,
it seems
but you
like
are
it's
not
just
seeing,
us. Yeah,
but
everyone
you
else.
can't.
I
That's
can't,
strange.
but I mean, if I'm the only one, I'd say it's
Try,
not an issue.
try to go out from the call and re-enter the call.
Yeah,
Maybe also you can. Then I continue. So I don't know if anyone missed the slides showing the increase in terms of participants and study sites in the observatory for this year. And this is the distribution of study sites covering 27 different countries in Europe. And this is quite satisfying distribution from our side. So we are happy about this progress in the observatory. As you know, there was a report that was written in August and submitted by the deadline of end August to EFSA. EFSA had no major comments on the report, so it was published straight away by EFSA as external scientific report in EFSA website, and is also available in the website of INETWELL. So the open access policy, as most of you know, of these documents is present, so they are visible and downloadable from EFSA and INETWELL websites. Um, about the results, the contents of the report, some notes that I can highlight here are that the report contained analysis of data of the campaign 2023 and also showed the structure, organization, and the participation in the network for campaign 2024. For 2023, the results in terms of species detected show that as many as 42 different mammal species were detected across the study sites with this distribution, and this represents a very good results with many potentialities because we have in total 44 monitored sites for this year, more than 79,000 activity days, and more than 1,700 deployments by all the participants in all the study sites, and the number of species, mammal species observed in the study sites make possible to make meta-analysis at the European level for several species that would be very useful. So we, our aim, our current aim is to try to valorize this data, and we will see in the next how we can do it. Another important result of this analysis was coming from the comparison between the results of 2023 and the previous years. Some of the study sites were used in different years, so was used for a multi-year analysis. And what was the very relevant outcome is that in most of the study sites, as you can see, the precision of the estimates of density for wild boar, but the same happened also for roe deer and red foxes that were used in the data analysis. The three species used as an example of the results of the network. For these species, the estimation of density was more precise in 2023 than it was in 2022. So we can the increase in the precision, so the reduction of the coefficient of variation from 22 to 23 was as high as 47% reduction. And we can explain this improvement in different ways. So we are going to perform analysis. We started already to do some analysis to explain this result, but we think that year after year, participants have increased in experience. The protocol was refined, making some functions available on Agouti, for instance, and that assist the data analysis. More cameras in total were used during the campaign 2023, and especially we think that more of these results can come out from the higher compliance with the protocol by participants. So we are improving altogether our results and our precision. So the potentiality of the methods is going to take to be visible from our results. As concerned data 2023, as you know, those of you who participate in campaign 2023 know that the results of the campaign were shared using a shared spreadsheet. So all the data, all the results of data analysis were typed in the spreadsheet and were visible to all participants. So the sharing of the data was available through the spreadsheet. For the data 2024, we are going to introduce a new data policy because we think that the use of the spreadsheet was sensitive to mistakes. We had to check and correct many data that were typed on the spreadsheet. So to prevent this kind of problem, we are going to introduce a new method of data sharing. Results will be typed in a form, online form, as Tancredi will show you afterwards. And we are going to create a safe repository for data sharing. So the data flow will be that the results will be entered in a form that is not a Google form, is a different form that Tancredi will mention. And after that, we will, the coordinating team will check the data that are entered, and then they will be shared through a data repository with all the network, all the observatory network, so that there is no risk that the data are shared before a formal check, and so people can download and can have data that are going to be corrected and that have some mistakes. Then about the scientific output, we as coordinating team decided to produce a first paper, a comprehensive paper describing the methodology, the ratio of the observatory, the organization, the protocol, and just a descriptive paper that will represent the launch paper for the observatory, advertising the activities done so far and the existence itself of the network. These will be produced in the coming months and will be very inclusive, so that all participants will be included in the authorship of this paper, and is expected to be the first paper of the observatory. Then other papers on selected topics have been proposed during the discussions within the coordinating team and with the advisory board that we constituted this year. But we are going to open also two proposals from the participants on new topics and introduce a policy also to propose new papers, so that everyone in the observatory can have an idea, may know which data are available, can ask to other participants for the sharing, for the use of the data, and propose the topic and the data analysis for a new paper. By mid-December, so in the next weeks, we will refine a document with the policy to propose new papers, and we will share the list of topics that were already proposed by the coordinating team, so that from January we will be able to start working on new papers. Okay, of course, both the topics and the paper proposed by the coordinating team and the paper proposed by everyone in the network will see as co-authors all the participants contributing to the data. And so this will be stated in the guidelines we will share soon in December. We also, as anticipated in the previous meetings, we have started collaborations with other initiatives on camera trapping. There was recently in November a meeting in Constance titled Advancing Wildlife Monitoring Through Camera Trapping Across Europe. That was an initiative of the Max Planck Institute of Constance to put together different participants representing different initiatives on camera trapping in Europe and not only, with the aim to coordinate at an international level these initiatives and share information and policies and so on. So the represented initiatives at this meeting were Europa Bonn, Snapshot Europe, Snapshot USA, that was also present from outside Europe, Euromammals and Eurocam. They are joined initiatives, as most of you may know. ScandCam, that is a project on camera trapping involving different Scandinavian countries. We, INETWELD and EOW, and also with Agouti and with Jim and Patrick participating in this meeting together with me, with Joaquin and Pablo Palencia, in all people involved in the INETWILD and EOW. The big picture, that is a Biodiversa Plus project, and the Wild Intel, that is another project. The first one coordinated by John Linnell and the other coordinating by Nera Silva, and they are also in camera trapping, and Mammal Web, that is an initiative um, started from UK and that we also shared as Inet Wild and joined Inet Wild in the past years citizen science initiative. So this is just to let you know that we are participating in these initiatives, and with them we are going to organize um, and support each other in a way that could maximize the results of camera trapping and contribution to the advancement of science. Then what else? We discussing at another meeting that took place in September with partners, with people of the Euromammals initiatives. We also launched another initiative, internal initiative for the observatory, but that we are sharing with the Euromammals, that is to try to compare the estimation of the range obtained through the EOW protocol with the estimate of the range calculated from telemetry data, in particular GPS data. That is also possible. And so we are going to survey within our network, within the EOW, and the same will be done by Euromammals within the network of Euromammals to know if we have overlapping data coming from the application of the REM method and the estimation of the range in Agouti and the and GPS data, movement data from the same areas where it's possible the comparison between the two results. So we are going to submit, to share with you a form to be filled in where you can declare if in your study sites data are available for any species, any mammal species that is occurring in the site, data, GPS data that can be used for this purpose. So this is for movement data, but at the same time, we are also asking if quantitative data obtained with other methods, so abundance data, are available for some species in your study sites. This is for different purposes. The first one is to compare different estimates of the range obtained from camera trapping and movement data. The second request will be aimed to know if comparison are possible for the estimation of abundance or density in the same site through different methods. Both kind of information will be used if there are enough sites. Of course, with this kind of information, we can think at meta-analysis and to potential papers on these topics that will also be very insightful in giving a perception of the difference and possible improvements in the methods we are using. So this is what I had to say. I don't know if there are any questions about it. Have you any question? Is all
Not a
clear
question,
now?
Massimo, but I'd just like to say I'm really happy with how this is going. It's looking really good with all the extra information we're picking up. So I think congratulations to everybody involved.
Thank you, Graham. Yes, in general, our aim is to make possible a sharing of information at the same time and improvements as much as possible in the methods and in the connections with other initiatives that have similar goals or that can provide useful information for us and for our aims.
Sorry, Massimo. Sonia asks in the chat, when are we going to receive the results form? Well, we're going to share that together with the minutes of this meeting and the recording. So that's going to be at the latest early next week. So we're going to share with you all this, yeah, the recording, the minutes, the forms, so the results one and also the one Massimo mentioned now, and everything at the same time. So in the next few days.
But Tancredi, you are going to show the form and
Yeah, I'm gonna give you
tell
more
more about
details
it.
about it just now. So if no other questions are Alain in the chat says you could simply intersect the EOW study sites with the Euromammal study sites to get a good idea about GPS data.
Yes, Alan, thank you for your suggestions. I shared um, the the coordinates, the shapefile of the EOW study sites with Francesca Cagnacci, who is the coordinator of Euromammals, and she's going to do this comparison. But of course, I cannot neglect the possibility that data are available and are not by people that is not joining Euromammals, or for species that are not covered by Euromammals. For instance, if there are telemetry data on small mammals, they would be useful, or mustelids, for instance, they would be useful to us, but maybe not available in Euromammals. So we are doing the same from two sides, from internally in the EOW, and with the form that I will share with you, and from within Euromammals in order to combine this information.
Right, so Maria, you are sharing the screen. I don't know whether there was on purpose or accidental. Maria, can you hear me?
But maybe, Tancredi, if you share your screen,
I'll try.
it will remove the other.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. So first of all, yeah, thanks everyone once again for joining. And so first thing is the deadline for for providing the 2024 results. The deadline has been set for the 28th of February 2025. So this date was thought to be a good compromise in order to give enough time to everyone to conclude all the image processing steps and the analysis ones. And at the same time, it was thought to be date which is early enough to start the scientific the work on the scientific papers soon enough, so not to delay it too much, and to ensure that most of the 2024 results can be considered when defining the databases for the papers. So we really would like to recommend to suggest that everyone saves the date and schedules their work in order to respect the deadline. In fact, we believe that this scientific output will strongly benefit all the participants, because we are trying to get the most out of the work that we're doing for each one of us. And at the same time, it will clearly represent a good, a huge benefit for the network itself. So we would like to include all the possible results, and we believe that the 2024 results are going to represent a very important part of it. So please save the date, 28th of February. I mean, if that's gonna be earlier, even better, but at the latest, we would like by then to have all the results. So as previously mentioned, the 2024 results are going to be collected through a different methodology, so with a form. This was decided to further increase standardization, so that and that also would facilitate then the analysis and reporting activities, because all the values would be then reported in the same way. It is more neat and clear. Then there's going to be less risk for transcription errors, and similarly, we're going to avoid the risk of accidental modification of the values in the spreadsheet. So I'm just quickly gonna show you what the form looks like. So this is the editing view, because otherwise I would have to actually fill it in to go from one page to another. But it's just to quickly show you the structure of it. So there's a first section with general information about the study site you are reporting results for, name, emails, and details of who's of the compiler. Then a few details about the protocol implementation, number of camera traps, number of rounds, study design, and a couple of questions about whether you have been deviating from the protocol. Then the section about ASF related information. We know that you've already been providing such information, but since the ASF scenario is constantly changing, we thought it would be useful to have some ASF related information collected with respect to the actual period of monitoring. So these questions would be then focused on the period during which the camera traps were active. So that's the usual questions: whether ASF is present, if not, distance from the front, restriction zones, and pig farms present in the study site, and prevention control measures in action. So this is kind of it. Then there's one section about which with information related to avian influenza and the presence of wetlands in the study site. And finally, the results section, which, as you can see, is very different from what we were used to use. In fact, here we are asked to upload a CSV table. You're not asked to actually type in the values of your estimates. So basically, I'm just going to show you in a minute how to get this CSV table from your R analysis is just represented by one simple additional step. But this way, we're going to have a very big further step in standardization, and it's going to be a fundamental step to have a much better database in terms of organization and standardization as well. So back to the presentation. So basically, I'm gonna just showing you now what the CSV table you are going to obtain looks like. This is half of it because it was too large. Then I'm gonna show you the next lines. You have to think at it as a continuum. So this is the second part, and this is the first part. So basically, this CSV table is going to have information about the study site, sampling design, minimum and maximum latitude and longitude, which are going to give us an idea of whether some of the coordinates have been mistyped. So if there are weird values in there, we know that there might be issues with that. Start and end. This was just an example table, so you see that the period is too long, and then the effort measured in day. While in the second part, which as I said is a continuum, these are the same lines. You have the species. So in this case, the estimates were made for roe deer, fox, and wild boar, with number of observations and all the usual parameters you were used to get with our analysis. So the estimate, the standard error, coefficient of variation, and the confidence intervals, with the n on which these values were estimated, and finally the unit of measures. So how to obtain this CSV table is extremely simple. It's just one additional step at the end, at the very end of your analysis processes. You're gonna only have to run this command, which is write_rem_csv with the object between commas. So here, just for the example, res1, res2, and res3 stands for results 1, results 2, and results 3. But making a practical example might be this one, where res_vol, res_ser, and res_cap are the names of the object you obtained from your REM analysis. So as you see here, there are 3 objects in the brackets. So you would have those 3 objects in the CSV table, but that could be any number. There could be 1 if you only have been running the analysis for 1 species, or they could be 15. So you should put them all in the same table, because that would be helpful for us to have one table for each study site. What is fundamental is that each object in the brackets should be an object that has been created as output from a call to the REM estimate code. So that is fundamental for the code to work. But running that, you're gonna have your CSV table saved in your directory, and then you can just simply upload it in the form, and that's it. And your results will be uploaded together with the form, and yeah. And so we thought this would be very easy, not just for you, but also for us to manage the data. And also, we're not only collecting the estimates themselves, but we're also taking out from the R analysis. That's therefore directly from Agouti. We are also collecting information about the effort, about the period of implementation, about the study design. So we're further reducing the risk for errors and to mistakes to be done from any side. So to clearly, if you have any doubt about this and you want to have further details about it, as always, just browse to Marcus Rowcliffe's GitHub page. There, of course, all the files have been updated with this new step, with this additional step. So you can find description of this final step. You can find the R example file where this has also been added. So yeah, there's very straightforward. To conclude, we are also going to share with you an updated version of the EOW protocol file. So the protocol itself remains the same. There's nothing new with respect to the training courses, of course, but we have been uploading a few things like the in-text links are now leading to the 2024 recording of the training courses. Minor changes to the text just to make it clearer. And then some of the Agouti sections have been slightly modified to bring them up to date with the updates that the platform itself has been going through in the last month. And then finally, of course, we've been adding details about the CSV table production and the results form. And finally, we've been adding an EOW vocabulary. So where the terminology that is mostly used when speaking about the protocol we're using and the activities we are carrying on. So we are defining those terms in order to further reduce the risk of misunderstanding each other and trying to be as clear as possible in all our communications. So this is also going to be shared with you together with the links to the forums, the recording of this meeting, and so we're going to share all with you in the next few days. So this was it from my side. I don't know whether there are any questions.
Tancredi, if there are no questions, I would like to add. Okay, Ferran.
Ferran.
Please, Ferran. Hi, Ferran. We can at
We
least.
can't hear you.
I cannot hear you. I can't hear. Can you, Tancredi?
No, Ferran, I think perhaps you muted.
No,
I'm
it's
not
not
muted.
No,
yes,
I can't hear you now.
Now we can hear you. Go,
Can
go,
you hear me? Okay.
please.
Yeah.
My question is more about the activities in 2025. Is this going to finish now in 2024, or you anticipate also the following of the activities in 2025? Basically, we haven't been ready to participate in 2024 campaign, but we are getting ready to develop the protocol in some selected areas in 2025. So basically just to let you know that something, if this is going to carry on, we're going to do it anyway. So we are happy to share the information we will get from camera trap deployment following the EOW protocol.
I can answer Tancredi if you want. Ferran, yes, we will continue as done in the previous years, so that in spring we will come back with the campaign 2025, and a new session of training will start. We will present the new campaign, ask people for joining the campaign, and understand new agreements for it. So and this led me to come back to what Tancredi was mentioning, so that we would like to make regular the time schedule of the process as much as possible, so that if we succeed to have the results of 2024 by the deadline of 28th of February indicated by Tancredi, we make data, or at least information about the data collected at that time. They are both useful to think about paper, and so think about the scientific output of the analysis, and to plan the activities of 2025, knowing what happened in 2024. So having also all the information to work in the due time to the report for EFSA, and to the optimization also of the protocol for the new campaign. If we succeed in respecting this schedule, then we would be everything will be more efficient, so to say, and we can also be on time with the new campaign and everything, the training and so on. But of course, we can go on.
Okay.
I wanted also point out another aspect that is about the data we are collecting, that in some areas were limited to one or a few species, although other species were collected, were present in the site because of time, participants and no time to maybe make the calculations for all the available species, or in some cases the species were analyzed, but the number of contacts with the species was limited, so an estimate of density was obtained, but the density value was not reliable because of the limited number of contacts. It's important to have a feedback by the deadline, I would say, at least for one species, so to know that the site, the data were collected in the site for 2024, so that we, by the deadline, we know exactly how many sites had participated and collected data in 2024. Then, if there is no time to analyze all the species, to make all the annotations and the estimates for all the species potentially used for this, then this can give can lead to extend maybe the time, have more time for this. You can inform us about it and have more time, but I would recommend, because I know all of us are full of many commitments, and the time is always too low. But yes, at least the message should be that a feedback by the deadline should be mandatory, so to say, should be important. And also, if Patrick is there, I would like to ask if Patrick is available to comment on some developments and anticipate some developments he was working on that would further increase the effectiveness of our activities and potential use of the data also for personal purposes by the participants. Are you there, Patrick?
Sure. Yes, I'm there. So you're referring to the report, right?
Yeah, if you want to anticipate, this perspective is not ready, I know, but this is
Yeah.
something that can represent an important improvements people may be interested to know.
So when you're done annotating everything in Agouti and doing all this calibration and tracking, you get this export file, and that's not a very exciting result by itself, huh? You will have noticed. So we've been trying to create a script, then you can run along with some extra files to create a report, just like that. And we already did this with the team of people for our site, and now turned the code into something generic, so that if you take if we have the export file of another site, a report will be generated for this other site. So I'll share my screen with an example of this export. Can you see it? You see a whole bunch of text. Is this correct? Okay.
Yeah,
So
we can see.
what you see here is a title that I entered, but all the rest is auto-generated. So there's an introductory text about the project. Then there is a piece of text about the sampling. There's a piece of text about the site. There is our maps showing the sampling points. You can even click on the sampling points and see what they're called. There's some text about image processing, the density estimation, the data processing, and then graphs concerning, for example, sampling effort. So here's a graph showing the sampling effort over time in our site, Veluwe. I can zoom in on a particular portion and see, okay, how was my sampling? Well, you see we managed to operate 44 sites, locations in Hoge Veluwe, and the next year we had 45, but one ran only shortly. So here we have an effort of 44. Then there's a table with all the captures. So I could have a look at, for example, just red deer. Oh, and you see the number of captures I had in 22, 23, and in total. I can sort it even. And what is then the corresponding capture rate, and how many locations were the red deer seen at? So you see that we have ultimately seen red deer in 44 of our 44 locations. And then there's a couple of graphs showing the abundance trends. So if you have multiple years, these will automatically then show in this graph. If you have only 1 year, obviously we have no trend. So this is a trend in the number of captures for a selection of species. And the selection of species is automatically done based on whether you have enough observations of the species to do anything with them. So here you see for red deer and wild boar that there's a slightly upgoing trend. And for roe deer and red fox, we have more or less the same captures. And for badger and pine marten, quite low number. We can then calculate the capture rate and see that they are actually quite constant, except for pine marten. And then the number of locations at which we have seen these animals. Well, you see that for fox, we went down from 28 to just 15. Okay, and then there's maps on the spatial distribution of the different species that were selected by the script as having enough observations. So here you see badger, wild boar, red fox, roe deer, red deer. Do you also see this thing appearing up here? Okay, done. So distribution maps for, and the red dots are places where there was no capture of the species. And then finally, if you have a set of habitats associated with these different points, in our case, we had certain habitat types according to Natura 2000. Some points were not classified yet. And you can also see how the capture rate distributes over these habitat types for the different species. So what we can see here is that badgers have a proportionally high capture rate in habitat N16. I think that will be some type of forest. Whereas, for example, red deer have a high capture rate in the red habitat, and I think that is a form of grassland. Sorry that I didn't quite make these labels a little bit clearer. Then we also have graphs with activity patterns. You recognize these probably. And then finally, the model parameters for the random encounter model for the different species, side by side, and ultimately the density estimates for the different years of the different species. So, well, the error bars are large, so we can't say that they're really different from these data sets. Maybe this one, but this is the proper comparison that we're after. And then there's a, oh, this didn't work out, set of acknowledgements that actually is also pulled from a piece of text that you provide, the references that you might use, and then we need here the appendix has a series of favorited pictures that are pulled from your data set. But in this last version of the code, that didn't work yet. So the cool thing is if you run this script and there are no problems encountered, you have a report in 1 minute. And that is much nicer than obviously just a ChemTrap-DP file and some numbers. That was it.
Thank you, Patrick. That's as you can see, a fantastic improvement. I thank Patrick for this effort. That will is not yet available, but we wanted to anticipate it because it should be refined. So Patrick will tell us when when this will be available. But as you can see, it meets the double aim we have, that is to produce scientific data and valuable data from one side that can be used for publications, but to provide also instruments and support to participants, so to have a benefit also for their own activity, and if they are public administration parts and so on, to have support to use, to have an immediate use of this data for their goals, their work commitments. So I think these improvements will go in this direction and will contribute to improve the network. Ezio, please.
Yeah, I was just to stress what you said about the importance of tool like this one. I hope, Patrick, we can really let it be available for all the partners as soon as possible, because I imagine we can present this to FASE, for example, and there is plenty of hunting district or parks or so on that can use these tools. Will save a lot of works, will save a lot of time, and will do what the European Commission and EFSA want, something that is standardized, so really easy to do when you collect data, and we'll put them in an automatic way, and so we can dedicate our team to analyze data, to work on them, and to give them better advice for managing wildlife. So really, thanks, wonderful jobs.
Well, thanks. That was so we had to make a report ourselves because of well, we had the permit, and in the permit it says we need to provide a report, and we need to do this every year, and it's more or less every year the same, except with a little update. So we thought we automate it, and if we automate it for our site, we might as well automate it for all the sites. That was the idea. So if you use this, if you use the script, you need to supply a few more files. and text file with a little description of the study site, a text file with acknowledgements that you want to include, and these need to have certain names. And if you have this set of files together with your ChemTrap DP, you generate your report for the the authorities that gave you the permit, or the organization that gave you the funding, whatever, and it will be fine. And if you think of improvements that need to be made or can be made to the report, you just tell us, and everybody will have the improvement. So we're also working, for example, on including a occupancy model in it, and then you can copy and paste those things in your paper if you wish, as long as you, of course, thank us in your acknowledgements. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Patrick. There is also another topic that I did not mention, but is also very important. That is the website of the EOW that is not updated because it was given priority to the Inetuald website during the first part of the new project of the Inetuald 2.0 project, but is going to be updated. And we really want to make the website also a useful instrument to know what is going on within the observatory and give the possibility to the users to know what is collected in the different study sites, and have the possibility to contact the reference person there, and to have an idea what kind of data are available. So this is another way of improvement we will work on in the future. And if there are more comments or questions. I can see hands on our questions, so I think, Tancredi, we can conclude. Summarizing just what you are going to send to our participants by email.
Yes. So yeah, once again, I want to thank Patrick. I really think that what they've been developing is brilliant, and it's going to be